practice. Watch this grab by Jalen Strong.
Okay, Jalen. Jalen's trying to make the squad there.
That'll help him. That's
their wide receiving core is deep. Antonio Callaway, young wide receiver, second year from Florida, suspended for the first 4 games after struggling with some issues in college.
All right, class of 2021, wide receiver Damian Deuce Hammond.
Get off the block.
All the moves in practice. Incredible.
Yeah, somebody on defense.
Cops, them 2 dudes running into each other.
Yeah, somebody on defense got to make a play.
Watch the second guy in the slot. Watch him get pancaked. Oh, off his feet. Knocked him off his feet. Now watch these 2 dudes at the end. Hey, man, you going to get him? No, I'm not going to get him. You going to get him? Yeah, look at that. They run into each other. It's going to be hard to get a date in high school. They was holding on to him.
No, those guys were running into blocks, man. Come on.
Bayonne High School in New Jersey, junior running back Cedric Bazile breaks 4 tackles, makes 2 guys miss, goes all the way in. What do you think? This is your neck of the woods.
That's pretty good stop and start. Yeah, there's a lot of good high school football in the state of New Jersey. Of course, St. Joe's, my good friend Augie Hoffman, former NFLer. He's the head coach there. Their program won the state championship last year. Shout out to them. But a lot of good football in the state of New Jersey. They recruiting
there, too. I heard that. There's a lot of kids moving in that district and doing some stuff over there. How I know that? Because I used to work at a high school, get accused of that.
Best players, money you buy.
Speaking of CC's neck of the woods, Columbus High School in Miami, 2020 running back Henry Parrish. I'm going hard.
Yeah, Columbus High School, they are power in South Florida. Florida produces 400 Division I football recruits every year. That's a lot of scholarship money, a lot of speed. Man, Canty, they say it's something in the water down there, man. It's
something in the water, but them Florida football programs in college, maybe they can keep some of them kids home, because a lot of those kids go in other places to play. Yeah, we need Florida State, Miami to bounce back.
That's when they was winning when they kept them home.
That's what I'm saying.
All right, on to Patty Mahomes. Last season, he threw for 50 touchdowns and 5,000 yards, but the Chiefs fell short of the ultimate prize, the Super Bowl. So Mahomes says he's not complacent, and he has his eye on the Lombardi Trophy.
Until you win that Super Bowl, I don't think you can be complacent with anything. Being that close last year, I mean, you want to find a way to win it, and until you're able to do that and able to do it multiple times, I mean, you're never going to be complacent with where you're at.
All right, Canty, Mahomes was extraordinary last season, but what do the Chiefs need to do to break through this year?
Well, first of all, I think they need to play a lot better defense. I mean, they were one of the worst teams in the National Football League defensively. That's why they went out and made the move. They traded for Frank Clark. They signed Tyrann Mathieu in free agency. They've been trying to retool that side of the ball because Andy Reid understands he's an offensive-minded coach, but their defense has got to come to the party if they're going to accomplish the ultimate goal and winning a Super Bowl. But as far as Pat Mahomes goes, if he continues to improve, I think he can help his team's chances. You hear him talking about wanting to learn, wanting to improve. I think all of the great ones, regardless of position, are students of the game. So when he comes out and talks about wanting to improve his footwork, wanting to be patient and take what the defense gives him, not force throws, I think those are steps in the right direction in terms of him being able to mature as a quarterback. Might not have the gaudy statistics in terms of the 50 touchdown passes this upcoming season, but he can have a bigger impact on his team winning without having those types of numbers that he had in his first campaign.
You talked about some of the defensive personnel, some of the additions, and I do believe that they will help. But can you help us out and maybe explain? Because Steve Spagnuolo is taking over that defense. What type of defense should we be looking from Spags to be able to play with Kansas City, to be able to put some punch into that defense?
Well, you know, Kansas City have been running a lot of odd front the last couple of years under their former defensive coordinator, Bob Sutton. I think Spags will incorporate more four-down looks. He'll have more exotics in terms of their pressure packages, especially in nickel and dime. So those are some of the things that you can look for. Fire zone coverages, 3 under 3, 4 under 2 deep. He'll implement a lot of those different things, and that's why they went out and got some new pieces on the defensive side of the ball. Those guys are going to give him a lot of flexibility in terms of his overall play calling.
And what he's going to try to do, and I have someone who's covered the NFL for 30 years really give me a breakdown of Spags and the defense. I'm glad you were able to help us, because they're going to look for their defensive players maybe to play 35 to 45 snaps. They know they got a juggernaut as far as an offense, and they're going to try to come up with a lot of blitz packages, keep guys fresh, but they getting ready to come after the quarterback in a variety of different ways. Now, Spagnuolo, one of the concerns about his defense has been guys haven't been able to pick up his sophisticated scheme. So guys, typically it takes a long time. Guys make mistakes, and typically you can't play as fast early. So let's just watch, see how they implement the system. Do they dumb it down a little bit so guys can get after the quarterback? So for me, that's a huge worry. They could not get off. New England had the ball 43 minutes in a football game. It's impossible to win a game if they have it for 43 minutes. So that's a huge, if they could add some punch to the defense, it's going to help Patty Mahomes. But for me, I believe in Andy Reid. And Andy Reid has the chance to have a very special quarterback. I believe a legendary quarterback, and I believe he gets the necessary things done. 10 times last season, the ball was in the opposition's hand where they either touched it or deflected it. Now, Patty Mahomes, those could have been 7 interceptions. It could have been 2 interceptions. But 10 times the opportunity for the defense to be able to do that, he's got to be able to get better as far as that. If the defense helps him out, we get a much improved Patty Mahomes, even off the MVP season he had last year, Chris.
I'm with you on Andy Reid. I mean, I have no questions about the offense. The defense, you guys covered that. Andy Reid, I kind of think he's like a lot like a Mike D'Antoni. You know, and he's had tremendous success. Obviously hasn't won the
offensive
big one.
Productivity.
Right.
I see what you're saying. Yes,
guys
great
go there and put up career high numbers, right? But sometimes it's been time management. Last year we saw, you know, penalties here or there in that game against New England. With his offensive genius, it's hard to say, is there a lack of attention to detail? But that's the problem with the Mike D'Antoni. Offensive genius, but something foils them in the big games where it's a lack of attention to detail. I think Andy Reid can get over the hump, but that's a question, too, for me.
To me, it's about ball control because he's been very, very explosive. D'Antoni, can they play some defense when you get in these series? When it's 7 games and you got to be able to win 4, you just can't run up and down the court and score 120 points. Andy Reid, can they run the ball? Can they put some punch in the running game? Because that's how you're able to help out that defense. Last season, man, typically their scoring drives last about 4 minutes.
Yep.
And then you know something? That you send that raggedy defense back out there, teams were able to score, so you're able to keep Patty Mahomes on the bench. That's why they didn't go to the Super Bowl. So a little bit of defense, a little bit of punch. Andy Reid adding maybe Carlos Hyde, maybe one of those other young running backs are able to, because once you get the lead, it's about time of possession. Can I keep that clock going tick, 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 tick? When you throw it and it's incomplete, typically it's something as far as the clock, it's a longer game. If you run it, you can keep that defense off the field, and I believe that would help.
And we saw that catch up to them in that Thursday night game that they played against the Chargers at home in Arrowhead. That caught them because they weren't able to run out the clock. The Chargers had multiple opportunities, and Phillip Rivers in that offense took advantage of it and ultimately ended up winning that game. But for Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid, the challenge for them this year will be trying to be patient with this offense. Because in the NFL, defenses typically take a full season to catch up to some of the things that you're doing when you have new personnel, when you have a new quarterback. Now that the defenses have seen Pat Mahomes for a full season, what will they do? What adjustments will they make in order to slow that group down? CC mentioned that it's a quick strike offense. They were 27th in time of possession, but #1 in scoring. So when you're a defensive player, you're trying to think to yourself, what can I do to make this team go 8, 10, 12 plays down the field? I want to make them march the ball down the field and see if they can continue to be patient. Will Pat Mahomes be patient, take what the defense gives him, or will he try to force plays? I think that will be a big challenge for him going into his second season as a full-time starter.
But refreshing news from Kansas City fans. Chris Broussard told us in a segment before, man, he did better the second time after facing those division opponents. So the NFL, you might have a book on them, but also we get a book on them. On what they're trying to do. When you're a superstar, I believe he's going to be the face of the NFL for the next 10 years.
Oh, I like that. Exciting to watch. All right, coming up, will Melvin Gordon's holdout derail the Chargers this season? That's next on First Things First.
Yeah, a lot of people like that. Patty Mahomes, now he's a looker. I saw him at a couple